Hello, welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. We are going to play a nice, steady game of rapid chess. 30 minute chess we're going to play. 30 minutes each. We're going to have a nice think and then it's going to come to an exciting conclusion. So, this will give us some time to properly think and hopefully produce a really beautiful position with some deep ideas. Maybe it's hard to get someone on 30 minutes. Oh, not that hard. Okay. Pawn. We're going to play e4. Let's play d4. Come on, let's play d4 today. So making way for the queen's bishop, staking a claim in the centre. Let's play c4. So if black takes this, it gives up the centre. Oh, looks like the queen's gambit declined. Okay, we're going to play a Catalan. Why? No, we're not. We're not going to play a Catalan. I've decided we're going to do this instead. We're going to pin that knight. We're going to play a standard queen's gambit declined. Knight c3. So this is the orthodox variation, right? e3. Short castles. Rook c1. You know, we can play things like queen c2 and stuff like that, and castle. I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to play rook c1, which is more steady. What do I expect to see here? I expect to see pawn c6. Pawn a6. Isn't the answer here to play... The answer is to play c5, isn't it? Well, it's an answer. You can also play b3. I think I like the c5 ideas. Then I think black's got to play c6, because you can't, you can't break with... So b4 is no good. Didn't you play bishop d3? Okay, let's try and work out what on earth's going on. Bishop d3. e5. Pawn takes. Then the knight goes somewhere. Let's see if black fancies all of that. I think e5 is an e5 move here. I'm not completely sure of this, but yeah, this is not the best, I don't believe, because of this. So this stops e5. This stops e5. But, okay, well, fine. It's a kind of Dutch. Well, what do I think of it? What I'm going to do is to play b4, a4, b5 and just see if I can break through the queen side. So let's see if black can stir up enough threats on the king side to diffuse my very quick queenside action. So after knight g5, how does black defend e6? Not easy, is it? The only way to defend e6 looks like knight b8. It's quite amusing. Knight g5, knight b8. Yuck. Knight a4. Knight g5. Knight b8. Knight a4. Okay, let's do this for the lols. I mean, it's funny, right? And we like fun. Knight b8. Knight a4 coming into b6. Yep. Okay. I mean, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it? So knight b6, takes on g5, takes on a8, takes on f4, no thanks. Oh, I see. So what? Hmm. It's a close thing, isn't it? So what we're going to see is knight f3, knight d7. So what if we take on b8? Rook takes. So what? Knight f3, knight d7, knight e5. Knight takes. Bishop takes. It's not quite as juicy as I would have wanted. Takes on b8. Okay. We could play knight f3, knight d7, knight e5 and just play for the dark square colour complex. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Maybe moves like queen f3 might come in handy. Alright, we'll do that. But I'm not terribly impressed, really. So knight e5, then I'll play queen f3 perhaps, or... Well, what I expect is knight d7, very much expect knight d7. Knight d7, knight e5, takes on e5, bishop takes on e5, knight d7, queen f3, oh, yuck. Don't think it's very good. I mean, what I could do after knight d7 is just sort of ignore it and play b4. And just say you're boxed up. Oh. Knight d7 is absolutely screaming to be played here. I suppose the question is whether I try and play knight h4 and try and get into g6. I think the answer is no. You don't do that. Okay. How about bishop e5 on the basis that... Oh, it's rubbish, isn't it? So after b4, the danger is he's going to play b5. Dancer. Where's Dancer from? From Potenza, Italy. Playing at the moment, you sure are. Playing against me. Okay. b4, b5, maybe you just leave it. Just say, well, c6 is weak. Okay. b4. And you just ask black, what's your idea? b5. Takes en passant. Oh, actually, b5 takes en passant. Okay. Well, do you know what? I'm going to swap that for the bishop. Because my instinct is the bishop is the bishop's not really active in the play. The bishop's not really needed in the play, but that knight was, because what I'm trying to do is undermine the cover of b6. Because for some reason I think a knight on b6 is going to be splendid. F takes, best guess. Then I'll put my knight on e5. There'll be an exchange of knights, and then my knight will arrive on b6, and I'm claiming that's a triumph. I mean, it's not really a triumph, but it's a positional Positional trump. It's good. And then maybe my queen can arrive on g4, and maybe my queen can arrive on g7 and deliver checkmate. Will black take on e5? Well, if black doesn't, I'll take on d7 and I'll take on play knight b6. Or might play knight g6. I mean, my queen is dying to come to the king's side here. Do I take with the pawn or I'll take with the bishop? Come on. Let's not overthink this, eh? Okay, so this is amusing, right? Because it traps the rook onto a bad square, a7. That's no square for a rook, is it, a7? And then we threaten checkmate in 1 for the lols, as they say. Then we're going to play f3. When the rook goes to f7, we're going to play f3. And it's going to look really, really nice for white. Okay, that's a good move. Well, that's absolutely sensible. I haven't thought about it, but I'm going to just hit the rook. It's not a great thing in chess, is it? I haven't thought about it. Okay, let's open the F file now. So actually, I might have made things worse here because I actually forced black to defend that bishop on d7 with the rook. That knight on b6 is really tying up the black forces, isn't it? So you know, I like this. What I want to do is pawn takes on f3, rook takes, and then just double on the F file, and it's mayhem because the g pawn's not really defending f6, and so at some point you can just take on d7 and then take on f6 probably, because you'll deflect either the rook or the queen, and then the bishop will hang. So you just want to double on the f file, because obviously that pawn on e4 is not stable. It's attacked twice, can't be defended. I suppose the thing I've just noticed, which is rather important, is that black can play now, because the bishop's moved, black can play e5. So the good news is takes with the knight, takes with the queen, takes with the rook. But it's pretty, frankly, white's advantage is going to be only marginal after all of that. The marginal advantage will be based around the fact that the rook is stuck. Oh, the rook's not really stuck anymore. I don't know if there is. There will be an advantage because you end up doubling. Black's got double d pawns. There is an advantage. Black's got double d pawns, but at some stage, black's going to really want to play e5, like now. Okay, very sensible. So, what can white do? Can white run with the queen? No, you're just going to take this off. You're just going to take it off, and if the rook takes, we're really happy. Oh, actually, we're still really happy because at the end of the day, we're taking on. We're going to take on e5 with tempo, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to take here look with tempo. That's pretty nice. This is fine, look. Then we're going to take on f. We're going to take twice on e4. You know, we're all right. So what we definitely see here is bishop g5, and we'll definitely meet it with this move. And so now, I see. I don't mind the bishop taking on d6, because actually that's a fantastic passed pawn. I mean, how about them apples? Like, that's a lot of apples, isn't it? Because look, this is steaming. I mean, this is powerful, I think. The immediate threat's f6. I suppose f6 at the end of days. I don't know. I think these pawns look really good though. Maybe they're not. What about e6? Rook takes d6 and then f6. That's threatening mate. It's also threatening f7 check. So I think the threat really is e6. Okay. e6. Rook d6. f6. How on earth do you defend? You can play moves like move the b pawn to defend g7, but then we've got f7 check winning the queen. So I think this is winning, but we've got to be careful with this because if you get this wrong, it's really bad. e6, rook d6, f6 with the dual threats of f7 check and queen g7 mate. The rook can't stop the mate. The queen can stop the mate from f8. So then f7 check, king in the corner. Oh. Yeah, I think queen f8's the problem there by the look of it. How about just doubling rooks? How about queen f4? Yeah, queen f4 is a good move. Indirectly protecting. The idea is you're protecting d6, and then that means that e5 becomes a crushing move. Okay, I think queen f4 is a good move. I don't think black's got much to stop that. Moves like g5 just look terrible. g5 doesn't work. You just take it en passant, queen takes, and then queen f8 looks pretty bad. But maybe not terminal. But I don't think it's credible to play g5, is it? I don't think so. g5, en passant. Okay, so that's clever, right? This is good. It's good chess because this is again disallowing d6. What about f6? f6. gf. Queen g4, rook g7. e6. Queen takes. Queen takes, rook takes. e7. King f7. No. Queen g4. We're going to play. We're going to play queen g4. I'm messing around a bit here. I'm threatening f6. But if I think black can repeat probably, yeah, and then we're going to play this. We're going to double, and we're going to ram the f pawn down the file. We're doubling with a view to ramming the f pawn down the file. The f pawn down the f file. So he's going to put the other rook on f1. Must you? So this is a bit irritating. It's probably not. So Queen H3 is probably possible here, isn't it? Queen H3, we like. Oh, Queen H3 is okay, I think. The rook's defended by the pawn. Don't plunder the rook. Now F6 is still a threat. F6 is still a big old threat. Maybe not terminal, but it's pretty bad. Rook CF1 is also nice. Actually, yeah. What about F6 is this. The rook's got to move. And if you take on G7, if anything takes back, if the king or queen takes back, you've got Rook G4, which pins the queen against the king. Okay, this is clever. This is interesting. So, okay, can't take with the pawn. So, F6. He takes the pawn, I take the rook, he takes the rook, it's checkmate. F6. The rook's attacked on D7 and it's pretty bad because, so the point is, takes on E3, takes on D7, takes on F4, takes on G7 mate. So that rook's got to move. Where to? Best guess. What's that? That's not working because it's hanging a rook. Okay, I think white might have missed that hangs a rook. Okay. Okay. So there's probably a checkmate here, isn't there? Yes. Well, should we check on the open file? Okay. Rook G4. King H8. Queen G7 checkmate. Rook G4. King F8. Queen G7. King E8. Pawn D7. I mean, that's horrible. Okay, I think that's plenty. You put the queen in the way, it's the end of days. The real problem is that extra pawn. Okay, also this is really horrible. This is actually better. Right, so King F7, there's a mate on G8. Queen in the way, there's a check on G8, which is terminal. Thank you, that was a great game. I enjoyed that. That was fun.